Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. I'm really excited about today's guest, Rubyni Karun, and she's the leadership alignment master. She's going to talk to us all about alignment, leadership, high performance, and it's going to be a highly impactful session. So, Rubyni, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate being here on this show to speak to your audience.
Yeah. So, kind of talk to your story, briefly, and then talk about we have a lot of things that we were discussing in the back room.
Yeah, and my story really is one that was created out of necessity. I wasn't born in a very high income family. I was born in very humble beginnings. And
Yeah.
as I learned the skills and the techniques to create wealth and to create something, a platform with my voice, this is the beast that I've created with Success in Self in my company, Xfinity SG.
So we'll talk about leadership alignment before success, and why do you think the power of corporate leaders is especially important now, more so than ever?
Okay. And thank you for saying that. I love this topic and I feel so passionately about it that right now, whoever is in a leadership position, it could be a business owner, a founder, a CEO, corporate leaders in companies, everyone should wear capes. Everyone should wear a Superman cape, whatever the color is, because we have a responsibility on creating the right type of field for people to succeed, right?
Yeah.
Before, it was always around if you have this one or two skills, you can be in supply chain for 16 years, right?
Yeah.
But now it's no longer the case. We have to lead, nurture, collaborate, create. And so
Yeah.
leaders are so much more important now to create the force field of what the world is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And we were talking about, because you're in Singapore, I'm in the United States, and in a lot of respects, Singapore is a really, I think a lot of Asia that has better infrastructure than United States. I think United States is on the decline, but that's another talk. But
That's a
kind of
different
talk.
talk that we should have.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading, some books, and it's talking about, leadership in Singapore is just so much more advanced. And,
Yeah.
like I said, United States is on
Yeah.
decline, but talk about having a high performance team that does the work for you.
Yeah, perfect. And one of the clients I have, he's from Los Angeles. I can't remember exactly where. He was saying, if you can make it in Singapore, you can make it anywhere in the world because Singapore is severely competitive. We're a very high performance society. We're very highly competitive. It's also because of the size, but the number of companies and industries that there are here. So let me get back to high performance. A lot of people who are high performers, I'm sure you've heard this, they'll say, I've done so much, but I feel I can do so much more.
Mm.
Or I've done so much, but I still have this potential. Potential is actually killer to high performance because you never reach your potential, right? So you
Mhm.
want to be at peak performance, full stop, happily, joyfully, in alignment, right? And so the big difference between a high performer with potential and a peak performer, I think, and I teach, is that alignment and being heart driven.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And then so alignment, and we'll talk about leadership, because like I said, Singapore is on the forefront of a lot of new innovations, fintech,
Absolutely.
blockchain, Web
Biopharma, yes.
3, everything. A lot of US millionaires and billionaires are moving to Singapore because it's like just a better run country, fiscally responsible. So kind of talk about, why do you think it's basically leadership in terms of what are the qualities that drive high performance teams in terms of
Sure.
leadership?
Sure. I love that question. Thank you, Chris, for allowing me to shine with your question. In the past, maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you still have the authoritarian way of leading. That no longer works, right? Now you see leaders who are overwhelmed, frustrated, they have anxiety, they have stress, they're close to burning out because they're not who they are at work,
Uh-huh.
right? So what we preach at Xfinity SG, what we preach is to be authentic, to be yourself. Now that's the tricky part because a lot of people come and say, Well, I've got so many masks on. I don't know who I am anymore. Ah, that's what happens after 20 years of working. 15, 20, 25 years of working, you forget who you are. So what we do is that we help them be authentic, remembering their strengths, remembering their badassery, if you would call it. And then we also guide them into becoming more connected with their team.
Mm.
Communication, collaboration, nurturing, encouraging performance. And then we help them create what they want to for themselves and their teams. And we're talking about goal setting, neuroplasticity, creating consistency in how they perform their actions with intentions. So all these things combined creates the high performance teams: alignment, authenticity, as well as connected leadership.
Yeah. The other thing, especially here in the United States and corporate America, which is why I started my own, I became an entrepreneur, but I found in the corporate environment, it was the extroverts, it was the people that occupied a lot of airspace, the people that talk loud. Yeah.
Alpha,
Yeah. They try to, show it, but sorry.
empty vessels.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hear a lot of empty platitudes, but there are a
Yeah.
lot of talkers and not a lot of doers in leadership. Why is that?
It's because of what we were taught as kids from childhood. The examples that were shown to us was that the loud and brashful ones got the bacon back home. It's a very masculine way of leading in the past. It
Yeah.
might have stemmed from military principles. It might have stemmed from some kind of old school masculine ways. But now, I mean, just to share with you, a larger percentage of my clients are men who
Uh,
have that, people who have been told to people please, silence themselves, not speak up, just not know how to communicate in
yeah.
leadership. And they want to be the heads of their divisions. They want to be the head of data engineering globally in their companies. And how do they do that when they've been talked down to? So we
Yeah.
teach them how to communicate in a different way because that way doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Like I said, paradigms are changing.
Yeah.
Really interesting. And as a final note, it's an employee market right now. What do you think
Yes.
leaders can do to retain good talent, and how can people contact you, follow you, reach out to you? I know you've got a lot of great work.
Oh, thank you so much. And I really love this last question because when you're heart driven, what happens? You connect, you nurture, and you embody yourself. You're light, you're smiling, you love
Yeah.
what you do, right? And what happens is that people stay with you. They want to
Mm.
work for you. So then it's no longer, oh, let's create work life balance. It's let's all stay in alignment and success. And then
Yeah.
everyone is retained because they enjoy working for you. It's no longer a topic to talk about. It's
Yeah.
natural, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of how to get in touch with me, I think the easiest one is through LinkedIn. Rubyni Karun on LinkedIn. I have a way to speak to me, share with me what you think about heart driven, high performance teams and how to speak in your truth, how to be authentic. I love to speak with people. I think this is our way, to show how we can change the world.
I love that. Um, for all the listeners out there, I know Rubini's got a tight schedule, and we'll have her on for a future podcast episode and webinar.
Yeah.
But be sure to follow her on all her socials, and we thank her for her time.
Thank you so much, Chris. My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. And all the best to all of you to be heart driven and inspire change.